Bob's Breakfast.
Let's get the latest news now. Chris Hubbard.
There's one face staring at you from the front of all the newspapers this morning. One face that is appearing on all the TV news channels, that of Clarkson.
I have to ask the question. Clarkson, Paxman, Kyle. Is there a Jeremy on TV that isn't a knob? I'm Graham Mack with this news from the US of A. God bless America! In Georgia, there's a woman on death row and her execution has been postponed at the last minute for the second time in less than a week because the drug used in the lethal injection was cloudy. What are they scared it'll do? Kill her?
Morbidly obese people should be given a free flu jab on the NHS each year, say government advisors. Public Health England.
They're going to have to give them some incentive. So flu jab on its own is not going to do it.
You don't think?
Flu jab and cake? Maybe. The world seems to be overcomplicated for no reason at all. It used to be, when you parked on the side of the street, you put a few coins in a parking meter. Remember that? Then it changed to the pay and dismay, and that wasn't that much of a hassle. You put some coins in the machine, it gave you a ticket, you put it in your windscreen. But now you have to phone up to pay for parking. Have you experienced this yet? Oh my goodness, it was a first for me yesterday. I had to park in Mill Hill. So I find this street, and I park, and I go looking for the machine. There's no machine, and then there's the sign. Call this number to pay for parking. I thought, okay, I'll play your silly game. Wow! Talk about make me jump through hoops. First of all, I have to select a PIN number. I then have to enter that again. I talked to a human being at one stage. I listened to a robot most of the other stages through. I had to put every digit in of my credit card, including those numbers on the back. And by the way, how does that make you any more safer? How can you have a thing with a number that long and 3 extra digits suddenly make it more secure? I don't know. Anyway, so I filled all that in. The expiry date of the card, the name that was on the card, the number plate of the car, the number on the sign where the car was parked, and then everything's repeated back to you to be checked. This, put in the number again. Did you mean this? Is your registration FB? Yes. Beep, 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 beep. And then it says, like, you are parked on Flower Street. Oh, I don't know. I've never parked here before. I'm not going to walk to the end of the road and find out what the name of the street is. Okay, maybe I am. Beep. And then finally, after it confirmed everything, it said, how long would you like to park for in minutes? So you have to beep in. So I put 30, half an hour. Should do me. I felt like I'd been there half an hour already, but okay, I'll play you down. So I 30, and all the way along, it's like, would you like a receipt? Yeah. Sent to your email. Yeah. Oh, well, that'll be 20p. Oh, okay. Would you like a reminder when it's 10 minutes before the time? Texted to your phone. Okay. That's another 20p. So then it goes all the way through, and I have to confirm everything, and then it says, for 30 minutes parking in, for this, credit card, for this, number plate, for that, will cost you 55 pence. All that for 55p? It cost me nearly that for the receipts and the reminder, and I bet it cost me more than that for the blinking phone call!
Bob FM. Home counties.
Good to know. Chan Chan and Yang Guang are back in the news again. These pandas.
This is the pandas that they keep saying are pregnant. Mm-hmm. Is there a bank holiday coming up again, is there?
There is. There's at least a bank holiday.
Yeah, it's just before every bank holiday when zoos are looking for customers, the pandas in Edinburgh Zoo are suddenly pregnant. They've been pregnant now for, I think, 3 years.
Started in 2011.
Oh, right. So that's, what's that, 4 years?
Yeah, Edinburgh Zoo.
It's quite the gestation period.
It's a long time, isn't it? Well, now, turkey basters at the ready. They've had to go down that line of...
dear.
Yeah.
If the pandas aren't in the mood...
They don't like each other. Clearly, this has been going on for a long time now. Previous attempts to make the pair have failed. So this time, they're going, well, down the artificial route, shall we say. And it's hopeful that this will have some sort of result, say zoologists at the zoo. They are also going to try for natural means as well, so they're going to leave these two pandas to romance each other for a little bit longer.
How's that worked out over 4 years? They even showed them panda porn, didn't they?
They did.
They showed them videos of pandas at it.
Raunchy videos of pandas was... one of the ways that they were trying to tempt people in. The last pandas in the UK, Ming Ming and Bao Bao, left a zoo in London in 1994 after failing to mate.
So how long were they there? They were there about 10 years, weren't they? It was a long time.
Yeah, they were
there. They failed to mate, and the panda porn didn't work, and the pandas were probably just complaining. They were just, I don't know, the acting in this is terrible. And that panda that arrives delivering the pizza, I mean, that's not very believable.
Bob.
You know how I'm kind of socially awkward? I don't do well in large groups of drunken women on a night out.
No.
Unfortunately, Saturday night, that's where I found myself. Julie's friend from work, it was her birthday. I don't know what birthday, because the thing with women is, although they want everyone to know that their birthday's coming up, it's my birthday in 6 weeks' time, it's my birthday in 4 weeks' time, it's my birthday in a week's time, although they want everybody to know when their birthday is so they can get them a little present. They won't tell you how old they are, which doesn't make sense, because that's what happens on your birthday. You get a year older. If you didn't want anyone to know how old you were or that you were aging, then birthdays should be taboo. You don't mention them. But to have it both ways is classic woman logic. It's like, we're going to make a big fuss of birthdays, but don't you dare ask how old I am. Anyway, so her friend had this birthday, and so she invited a couple of the girls from Julie's work, but loads of her other friends who Julie doesn't know and I don't know, and they were all her friends. And we went for this meal at this Turkish restaurant in Hitchin, and well, I was in hell.
Were they all women?
Yes, I was the only bloke.
Why did you go?
Julie wanted me to go because her friends, and you should go. I think Julie thought there would be blokes there.
Ah, okay.
And but it makes no odds if you're on a long table anyway. You're stuck with the three people that are around you anyway. Makes no odds if the blokes were there, but at the other end of the table, I still wouldn't be able to talk to them. And for all I know, I wouldn't get on anyway because I don't tend to necessarily bond with that many people, you know.
Yes, you do.
I know, but
You made the effort.
I would probably try and make the effort. But her friends were not me. You know, I have no tattoos. They had plenty of tattoos. These girls, plenty, and. There's something that women do when they go out. Big-chested women like to show off the cleavage. Oh, yeah. At least two of them had bike parking cleavages.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And you're not allowed to look.
No.
That's the other thing. It's like we do the birthday, but not the age. We throw the boobs right out, but you must not look. well, come on. So this is all going on. So there's a lot of bare boob. There's a lot on display. So that's, for me, is uncomfortable anyway. I don't want that. So there's a lot of cleavage going on. Then one of them who Julie works with, she goes, "Oh, and you've got a new car."
Oh, no.
She was on about the car that I had, the Porsche, my first Porsche, but it ended up going back. So it's a real sore point. So it's like, oh, just stick a knife in my heart, why don't you? So then I had to explain that. And what was wrong with it? Well, the engine was knackered. So I had to go through all of that, you know.
Did you explain all of it to this poor woman?
Yes.
She's probably stood there completely glazing over.
Not interested at all. No. And it's a Turkish restaurant, so I don't know. Can you drink the water? I mean, so there's that going through my head too. How authentic is this?
Yeah.
And you know, when I say the things I normally say, that everyone else just goes, "Oh, yeah, that's him. He says that." I was saying it, and you could see they were shocked to the point where one of them, I'm sure she was texting everything I said.
What did you say?
Well, she's on about something about we're on about plants and what do you like to eat and all the rest of it. And we're on about, you know, someone was talking about going walks and it could have been horse ride. No, it wasn't horse ride. It was walks and it was outdoorsy stuff. And I said, "Do you know, I don't really like the outside that much." I like inside much better. And, because, the weather's pretty consistent inside. Outside, you can get wet or snowed on or hailed on or cold or too hot or sunburned. You don't get any of those problems inside. I could see. So she's texting, and then we got, talking about, gadgets and stuff. Because one of them's got the iPhone.
You talk to a woman about a gadget?
She brought it up because she's got an iPhone 6, and I said, well, I got an iPhone 6 and I'm struggling for anything in common.
Yeah.
So, there was quite the discussion about the gadgets, and then we got onto the menu, and when you've not been to a place before, you go, and it's all written in Turkish, and I'm like, I'm trying to find something safe, and I find pizza.
Oh, brilliant.
So I say to this girl with the big cleavage whose birthday it is, what's this, whatever this Turkish word is, what's this pizza like? She says, well, is it like a normal Italian pizza? She says, well, yeah, it's kind of round. And I'm like, well, good start. She said, but all the filling is kind of down the middle, down the middle. She says, it looks like a vagina.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I went right off pizza. Didn't order the pizza. That's what I didn't do. So, and it was also one of those nights where people don't know how to make a night end. You get to the end of the night, no one really knows that where's the end? There almost needs to be a bell goes off or something. Says, right, everybody out, but it was just kind of dragging on. And so I had a horrible night, I mean, on paper, if you were to say to pretty much any man, describe the night, if you were to say, well, it was a night of food, great food. Actually, the food was pretty good. Great food. Highlights included talking about cars and gadgets, and there were boobs and a vagina. Most men would think that sounds like a pretty good night out.
Harrison Ford's been injured, as we've been hearing, after the plane he was piloting suffered engine failure and he crash-landed onto a golf course in Los Angeles.
The cockpit voice recorder has been found.
Really?
Yes, I have the audio.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. This is Harrison Ford as his plane got into trouble just before he crashed, from the cockpit voice recorder.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Bob's Breakfast.
Society is messed up. This morning I discovered I'd been the victim of a crime. Let me bring you up to speed here and explain how this happened. I live in a block of flats. I have one parking space in that block. I'm paying for it. It's part of my rent. Now, I don't go home at the normal home time. I go home a little bit earlier than that. So most parking spaces are kind of empty till around 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock at night. But I go home in the afternoon. Now, because there are a lot of empty parking spaces in the day, people like to take advantage at my block of flats, and often I've come home and found someone in my space. Sometimes it's tradesmen who are doing work there. Last week it was a bloke in a black Vauxhall Astra. I had nowhere to park. Although there were empty spaces, I can't park in someone else's. So my car's got a dodgy alarm. I know how to set the alarm off. I set the alarm off on my car, and that made people look out of the windows. Eventually one of them was this bloke who was obviously visiting someone at the flats. And he saw that I was there, blocking him in. He came out, I reversed out, and as he drove away, I gave him the stink eye. Immature, I know, but that's all I had. So, driving, I think it was like Tuesday last week. Driving to work the next day through Hitchin there. Looks like they're putting up a pedestrian crossing there near the car agents. There's some road work and some traffic cones. So I helped myself to one. And it's been working a treat. Every day I back out of my parking space, I put the cone in the space. Then when I come home, all I got to do is move the cone, because no one can park there now, and I park. Well, I've been leaving the cone in the bushes at next to the parking space. I get up this morning, and the cone's gone. What's going on there? What kind of person goes around stealing traffic cones?
Bob.
I've had some more thoughts on this Apple Watch.
Oh, right.
I just want to get a warning out. If anyone does have Apple shares, sell them today before the release of the Apple Watch. This is the biggest the biggest mistake Apple have ever made. Because I don't wear a watch anymore. Chris is not wearing a watch right now. Everything I need on a watch, including the time, is on my phone. But I was just thinking, I'm right-handed.
Yes.
So when I did wear a watch, I would wear the watch on my left wrist. Now, being right-handed, when I use my phone, I hold my phone in my left hand and then push the buttons with my right hand.
Mm-hmm.
So the watch, which is supposed to be linked to the phone, is only going to be 6 inches away from the actual phone. What's the biggest shock you've got at work? Barry.
Well, there's a few. There's like, I went and done a painting job where the woman turned out to be a naturist.
She was enjoying indoor nudism while you were painting the house.
Yeah. Or there's a one where I actually got a shock. I was working at the Ideal Home exhibition.
Yeah.
And I cut a cable above one of the stands and blew the whole light out.
Fused the whole thing.
Yeah. Or there's another one where I was working around Tony Blair's house, and Cherie Blair come into the kitchen to make us a cup of tea with 2 black eyes.
Oh, really? And you never found out why?
Well, I said to her, what's happening? You had an argument with him. She said, oh my God, don't say that because the paparazzi are finding out.
Yeah.
But she said that she had a makeover and it affected her.
And it went horribly wrong.
Yeah, so she said. So there's 3 different stories I could have told you.
You're fantastic. We haven't got time to get them all on. But hang on, let me go back
what
to...
would you like?
The naked woman, the naked woman, I think.
Right. Well, what it was, I was working for my mate Colin, and we was working down Wimpole Street, and I've actually seen the job once before, but only the husband was there. Anyway, we went and looked at it, got the job and everything, went back, started on a couple of Mondays later, and he was, as I got there, he was running late, just dashing out. He said, my wife's indoors, has anyone mentioned anything about her? I said, no. And he said, oh, we're actually naturists. He said, don't worry about anything. I said, oh, okay. So he lets me in anyway. So I shouts out, like, hello.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I'm in the bathroom at the moment. Are you Barry? I said, yeah. She said, well, can you just have a look in the bedroom first? So I goes into the bedroom and there's mirrors everywhere.
Wow.
You know, hanging on the ceilings and whatever.
Right.
Anyway, she shouts out, make yourself a cup of tea. So I goes into the kitchen, and the next thing I know, she's walking down the corridor towards me, naked.
Now, was she a good sort?
She was absolutely beautiful.
Oh my good, what a bonus, but what a shock. Jeez, Barry.
Yeah, proper sort. Anyway, so I rang the lads up, told the lads, and every day one of them was coming down and helping me to bring me paint.
Bob's Breakfast.
We've been put on a health alert because of what experts are saying a potentially dangerous cloud of air pollution coming over from France at the moment.
I've got to say, I'm disappointed. When there's this kind of natural phenomenon, you know, based on the weather, it's always been given a good name. We've had Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
We've had, what was it, the weather bomb?
Yeah.
Remember
that's
that
true.
one?
Yeah.
This one doesn't have a name, and there's a name sitting right there, isn't there?
Is there?
Yes.
What's that?
The frog smog.
Bob.
I am a criminal. I have been paying for my crimes.
What have you done?
Okay, first of all, what day was it? Thursday last week, I went to London, and I went from Nebworth. You and I have taken the train from Nebworth.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. Easy. So what's the first thing you do when you get to Nebworth Station?
You try and find somewhere to park.
Exactly.
Right.
So all the parking spaces were taken.
Yeah, it does get busy.
They were all taken. So I invented my own.
Oh, no. Oh, you can't do it there.
What do you mean?
Well,
I've got a train to catch. What am I supposed to do? I got an appointment in London with someone important. What am I supposed to do?
Didn't you go to the pub opposite and just leave it there?
Well, I don't want to do that because that's for patrons only. I'm not a
Oh,
patron.
for God's sake, you go there every week and have lunch there.
I know, but at that time I wasn't having lunch there. I want to play the game. I don't fall out with the pub.
So where did you park?
Well, I parked in the car park. Like there are, you know how they park them in anyway. There was this thing, there were cars parked and I parked behind someone. It was not a bay, but it looked like it should have been a bay. I wasn't blocking anybody in.
Okay.
And I paid extra because it was I think it's like £3 to park all day and I paid £4.
Oh.
Well, I don't have change, but still, I paid over the odds.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I parked.
Well done.
And I paid and displayed.
Okay.
And I got on the train, I went to London, I came back a few hours later, and I got a ticket.
Oh, no.
£85.
Oh, my gosh.
£85.
Is that before they double it? 'Cause they double it in
No,
4
if
weeks.
you pay 50 now, you can pay 50. I paid 50. It's
What was the ticket for, though, if you
for
paid?
there were photographs. When I went, the ticket was for not parking in a designated bay. So for not parking because somebody had decided not to paint a bay there. Mm-hmm. And when I went online to pay, there were photographs of my car. No. So this yellow striped parking vulture was hiding and then appeared like a ninja as soon as I got on the train. Oh. It's a scam. They could have, if they'd painted more bays, there's room for more bays. They just decided not to paint them so they could make more money. If they paint those bays, they make another £3. They don't paint them, they make 50 minimum, possibly 85. It's a scam, and I was caught. It's a trap. Oh. So next time I have to go to London from Nebworth, I have to drive to Welwyn Garden City because I know I can park there. How ridiculous is that?
Why? You live in Hitchin. Why don't you just go from the Hitchin train
I'm not going to double back. I'm not going to go north to go south. I'm already in Nebworth.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
next time I go to London from Nebworth,
Yeah.
I have to drive to Welwyn Garden City.
Oh.
So that was
It is a massive scam.
It's a scam because
But any
there's
parking
plenty...
ticket is a scam.
No, but this is a scam because there is room for more cars there. They just don't want to use the paint because if they use the paint, then they only get the £4 and not the 85 quid or possibly the 50 quid. It's clearly a scam.
Have you written to them?
No, I'm not into that. I just paid it. Stick it up your ass. Okay, I can afford it. I'm paying it. Okay, and that's what I did. Now it didn't help that I also got £100 fine this week.
What was that one for?
Speeding.
Oh, no.
Now this is a big scam. I find out I've got caught by a speed scammer. And make no mistake, they are a scam. Why else would thousands of law-abiding citizens be fined thousands of pounds every week? Sometimes they call them safety cameras, which is the biggest lie of all. I was doing 36 in a 30 on my way to Barebone Studio.
When was that?
Last week.
Oh, my gosh.
In broad daylight, nowhere near a school, shops, other cars or pedestrians, but because the limit is 30, I broke the law and have to pay a £100 fine for 6 miles an hour. 6 miles an hour. Now, fixed speed cameras are signposted and painted yellow. Why wasn't the little van containing the little maggot that he was hiding in, why wasn't that van painted canary yellow? How come speed cameras have to be painted, but not when they do the mobile ones, the sneaky up ones?
I've never thought of it like that.
It's because it's a scam. Everybody speeds. If you want to stop people speeding, make it so cars detect the speed limit and won't let you go any faster. Why not do that?
That's a good idea.
My sat-nav on my phone knows the limit, because it tells me, and it knows how fast I'm going. So the technology's there. Clearly, it's all about collecting the money.
Yeah.
So if it's about collecting the money, why not just put road tax up? Because we all speed. Why should we have to play this stupid inverted lottery, a version of the old shell game? We have to guess where they've hidden the camera today. See, if they put road tax up, it wouldn't cost that much more because they'd save all that money, not trying to catch people and then fining them and all the paperwork. You see, they're not honouring their end of the deal. This is how the deal works. We pay for the roads. We pay for them through taxation, fuel duty and VAT. And in return, the state provides us with well-maintained roads.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They're well-maintained. You've seen the potholes? You've been down Old Nebworth Lane?
Oh, they're
You've seen the
rubbish.
potholes? Mm-hmm. How about the roadworks? Or where the road just isn't wide enough? Usually because a lane has been stolen to create an empty bus lane. and you can't even do the speed limit. What about then? You see, if they're going to charge us extra when they catch us breaking the speed limit, we should get a refund every time we can't get anywhere near the speed limit because they haven't upheld their end of the deal.
I'd never thought about it like that.
It's a scam.
It is.
And when are you more likely to speed?
When you're driving?
When you're late.
Oh, when you're late.
You're more likely to speed when you're late. And why are you late? Because you've got stuck in traffic, and what causes the traffic? Potholes, roadworks and bus lanes!
Bob's Breakfast.